Hello and welcome to our special report, The Middle East in Crisis. I'm Lee Webb. Thanks for joining us. Here's what's happening today. Suspected Islamic extremists murdered a high-profile Christian in Pakistan today. Shahbaz Bhatti was the government minister for religious minorities in that country. He had been threatened for speaking out against Pakistan's harsh blasphemy laws. His murder comes one day after U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton told Congress that governments have to do a better job protecting religious minorities, and the U.S. should hold governments accountable for abuses. Joining us is our panel of reporters and analysts. CBN Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell joins us from Jerusalem by Skype. Also in Jerusalem is international correspondent Gary Lane. He joins us by phone. And George Thomas is with me here in our studio today. Before we talk to the panel, I want to show you this powerful piece of video from the murdered Pakistani Christian Shahbaz Bhatti. This is part of an interview that was done 3 months ago.
The forces of violence, militant band organization, the Taliban and pro-Al-Qaeda, they want to impose their radical philosophy in Pakistan. And whoever stand against their radical philosophy, they threaten them. When I'm leading this campaign against the Sharia laws, for the abolishment of blasphemy law, and speaking for the oppressed and marginalized, persecuted Christian and other minority, these Taliban threaten me. But I want to share that I believe in Jesus Christ, who has given his own life for us. I know what is the meaning of cross, and I'm following of the cross. And I'm ready to die for a cause. I'm living for my community and suffering people, and I will die to defend their rights.
Wow. Willing to die for these rights. Gary Lane, let's ask you the first question. Tell us, who was Shahbaz Bhatti and why was he killed today?
Well, Shahbaz Bhatti was a member of the government. He was a respected Catholic there. He had been involved for many years in pushing for human rights, the rights of Christians in Pakistan. He even had an organization that was very much involved in exposing what was going on against Christians there in the country. And once in the government as the Minister of Minority Affairs, he spoke out regularly about what was happening to Christians and was a strong opponent of the blasphemy laws there, and he called for their repeal. And he also befriended a woman by the name of Asia Bibi. We've reported about her regularly in recent weeks and months. She was accused and convicted of blasphemy against Muhammad, and her sentence was execution. She's still in prison now, awaiting that sentencing. But he spoke out on her behalf, and he was even seen in video that aired throughout Pakistan on television, meeting with her.
George Thomas, as I said, is here with me in the studio. You've been reading Twitter accounts, and people are reacting to his death.
There sure are. In fact, there is a topic called #Bhatti, and here's the latest. A sad day for Pakistani democracy. A brave man who laid down his life for his faith in Christ. Another Facebook posting, I do want to show this to you. It refers to the scripture, John 16:2, and it says, quote, "Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. To live is Christ, and to die is gain. Do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of the one who can destroy both the soul and the body." I had a chance to speak to a professor from Lahore, Pakistan this morning. The interview is posted on cbnnews.com, but this is chilling. We must realize here, Lee, that Pakistan is the second largest Muslim populated country in the world, and to have the only Christian member of parliament assassinated in the country is a huge blow. And people are wondering, where is the Pakistani government today? Are they going to protect this minority group of people in Pakistan? And so far, the answer has been no.
Gary, tell us about these blasphemy laws. What are they? What is the penalty for them?
Lee, the late President Zia, General Zia, imposed those laws, or introduced those laws, I should say, back in the early to mid-'80s in Pakistan. And if you remember, that's a time when the U.S. was fighting the Soviets in Afghanistan, and a lot of the aid and relief and military supplies were going in through Pakistan. So Zia was our friend. I don't know that we spoke out much about it at the time. because we wanted to continue with that alliance. But it's called the 295 law, and there are three subsections, A, B, and C. And the worst is blasphemy against Muhammad, and that's punishable, if you're convicted of that, it's punishable by death. There's also blasphemy against the Quran and blasphemy against Islam. And have hefty fines, Lee. And what has happened over the years is Muslims get in a dispute with Christians. Maybe it's a property dispute over a property line or something. And they'll be arguing, and then they'll say, aha, you blasphemed Muhammad. And the Christian might not have said anything against Muhammad. But they call the police, and the police will come and take the Christian away, listening to the Muslim before the Christian, because the Christians are considered second- and third-class citizens there. They're considered infidels, and they will take the Christian away and put them in jail. And they're considered guilty until proven innocent. And many have sat in prison for 4, 5, 6 years as the appeal process has gone on through various court systems. And then finally the courts will say, no, there's no evidence here, and they'll release them after a lengthy legal battle, and they've been sitting in prison all that time. And some have actually been murdered upon release.
Right.
Not by the government, not executed by the government, by Islamists.
Gary, George was telling us the reaction that he's seeing on Twitter and Facebook to this, and we actually have video of some of the protests going on. Are these Christians, George, that are protesting right now in Pakistan?
Look, I think yes, they are, and they've come out in full force to try and say, listen, these draconian laws, these blasphemy laws, cannot continue to be part of the Pakistani jurisprudence. This must end. You know, the interesting thing is the Pakistani government has so far not taken on this issue head on. Why? Because it is such a sensitive topic in Pakistan to try and repeal these laws, and so that's why you've seen Bhatti gunned down. You had a governor of a province in Pakistan about 2 months ago, also an advocate for repealing these laws, gunned down. And so in essence,
it was not the government that killed those folks. These were mobs, right?
No. Let's be specific. Islamic radicals. These are folks who are diametrically opposed to anybody doing anything that would blaspheme.
Do you expect the government to go after those who shot and killed Bhatti?
No. I mean, I think in the end, it's about putting pressure on the Pakistani government to say, look, there is no way that people who do not believe in the ruling orthodoxy, here in this case Islam, must have the opportunity to express their faith, must have the opportunity to practice their faith. And so far, the Pakistani government, a very strong ally of the United States, has stayed mum on this and is not willing to face these draconian laws head on, because the challenges would be enormous for this country.
Gary, we have just 20 seconds left. What do you expect the Pakistani government to do? Do you think that this might produce a breakthrough, that people might become so outraged that they might do something about it?
No, I don't expect anything to happen other than some more protests on both sides, from Christians at the funeral and also Muslims in response to that. Could turn violent, so watch for that. But we need to be praying, Lee.
All right. Gary Lane, thank you for your insights. If you will, Gary, stay with us. George Thomas is going to remain with me in the studio, and we want to get to Chris Mitchell to find out what it's like for Christians in Israel, among the Jewish population there, as well as the Palestinian population. We will have more, and we'll also talk about what is going on with the U.S. government and how it deals with this. We will have more from our panel of experts later in the program, but first, Mark Martin has the top stories of the day from our CBN newsroom. Mark?
Lee, abortion doctor Kermit Gosnell will appear for arraignment in a Philadelphia courtroom today. Gosnell is charged in the deaths of 7 babies and 1 patient who died of a drug overdose. Prosecutors say his West Philadelphia clinic was a squalid house of horrors where he and his staff regularly performed illegal late-term abortions. Prosecutors are considering the death penalty if Gosnell is convicted of first-degree murder. The California Attorney General is asking a federal court to allow same-sex marriage in that state, even while Proposition 8 is being appealed in court. Prop 8 is the law approved by California voters, which says marriage is between a man and a woman. State Attorney General Kamala Harris told the Ninth Circuit Court in a letter that Prop 8 is unlikely to prevail in court, and so enforcing it is a fruitless violation of gay Californians' civil rights. The Senate is expected to take the House's lead and adopt an emergency spending bill to temporarily fund the government. More than 100 House Democrats backed the Republican plan, which keeps the government operating for 2 more weeks. President Obama is expected to sign the bill. Without it, federal funding for the government runs out Friday. The GOP measure also cuts spending by $4 billion. Fiscal conservatives are angling for even more cuts on the heels of a new report showing wasteful spending in Washington. Coming up, more from our panel of experts on the persecuted church.
In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth.
These are the greatest stories ever told. Presented by Academy Award winner Charlton Heston.
Thus saith the Lord of Israel, let my people go.
Join Charlton Heston as he travels the sacred lands of the Bible.
I'm going to take you with me on a journey exploring the stories in the Bible and the ancient land where they happened. This is said to be the very garden. This, the very rock where Jesus prayed for strength.
Now the Bible comes to life like never before. Time Life presents Charlton Heston's The Bible.
And Moses cast the tablets from his hands.
Praised by critics, this landmark TV series is now available on digitally remastered DVDs. You'll be inspired by the greatest stories from the Old and New Testaments, enhanced by historic works of art. Get Charlton Heston Presents the Bible on 4 DVDs for $49.99. Call with your credit card and save $10.
And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son.
And that's not all. You'll also get a free bonus DVD that takes you behind the scenes. And if you call in the next 10 minutes, we'll ship for free. That's an additional savings of nearly $7.
For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever and ever.
Call now to get Charlton Heston's The Bible on 5 DVDs for just $39.99. Call in the next 10 minutes and we'll ship for free.
Now therefore go, and I will be with thee.
Call 1-800-748-5167 to order Charlton Heston Presents the Bible for $39.99 and receive free shipping when you call in the next 10 minutes with your credit card.
There's no doubt that Christians and other minority groups are feeling under pressure and are leaving countries from North Africa to South Asia because they don't feel protected. I think we need to do much more to stand up for the rights of religious minorities. And obviously, I'm deeply concerned about what happened to the Christians in Iraq and the Christians in Egypt. I'm also concerned about what happens to minority Muslim groups in Pakistan and elsewhere.
That's Secretary of State Hillary Clinton on the conditions of Christians in the Middle East. Gary Lane, you heard what Secretary Clinton had to say there. Do you believe she's being sincere when she says that the administration cares about what's happening to Christians in the Middle East?
Yeah, I do, Lee. I think it's very refreshing to hear the U.S. Secretary of State make those type of remarks. I think they are sincere, but what can they really do about it other than put pressure on these governments? Egypt gets about $1.5 billion worth of aid from the U.S. each year. Maybe we can put some more pressure on Egypt to better protect their Christian population. The same goes for Iraq. I mean, over the years, when we have seen these incidents against Christians there, we've put some pressure on, and then suddenly you see some government troops and police around churches. The problem is it doesn't last long. So it has to be an ongoing effort. We have to continue the pressure. But yeah, I do think they're sincere. There's not a lot they can do other than put pressure on these governments.
I'd like to go to our Middle East Bureau Chief, Chris Mitchell. Chris, we've been talking about the interaction of Christians and their relationship in the Arab world and the Muslim world. What is it like for Christians, though, in Israel, among the Jewish population?
Well, among the Jewish population, it can be very difficult. There was just a demonstration planned last night in a place called Arad. It was actually canceled. But what happens to some Messianic believers in congregations around here is anti-missionary, typically ultra-Orthodox, will sometimes badger these people who have accepted Yeshua, which is the Hebrew term for Jesus, and become Messianic Jews. So sometimes through discrimination, sometimes harassment, persecution, it can be difficult in Israel for those believers who have accepted Jesus as their Savior to live their lives. Sometimes discrimination is things they face. For example, if there's an example of a Jewish lady who's become a believer in Yeshua, who's been discriminated against, and she owns a bakery and they've withdrawn her kosher license. That's right now in the court system. Another example just a few years ago was a Messianic family in a place called Ariel, and they were the subject of a bombing that actually nearly killed a 15-year-old Messianic boy. So that's an example of some of the dangers that people face here in Israel.
Well, Chris, thank you for your insights. If you will, stay with us. We want to talk about, again, how we might be able to pray for persecuted Christians. And Gary, I'd like to get your insights on that as well. We'll be talking more with Gary Lane. We'll be also joined by Jonathan Schanzer in our next segment to talk about what's going on in the Middle East. We'll hear more from our panel of experts right after this break. Please stay with us.
What makes the miracles of Jesus even more miraculous? Standing where they happened, in Israel. Come explore Jerusalem, where Jesus opened blind eyes. Visit the hills of Galilee, where Jesus fed the multitude. Stroll through Capernaum, where Jesus lived and taught and healed. To learn more about standing where it all happened in Israel, visit www.goisrael.com. Come visit Israel.
Endless pools are an incredible alternative to traditional pools, making it easy and inexpensive to swim at home. Call our toll-free number or visit our website. A free idea kit and DVD will be sent to your home so you can discover all the benefits of owning your own pool. Compared to traditional pools, endless pools are simple to install, easy to maintain, and economical to run. Our precision-engineered pools enable you to swim or exercise against a smooth current that adjusts to any speed and ability. Endless pools are perfect for year-round health and fitness, relaxation, and family fun. Our free idea kit and DVD will show you how easy it is for the whole family to enjoy a pool right in your backyard or home. An endless pool or an endless pool swim spa can become a showplace for your home. Call our toll-free number or visit the website to find out more about endless pools. The free idea kit will show you just how easy it is to be able to swim at home.
What makes the miracles of Jesus even more miraculous? Standing where they happened, in Israel. Come sail the Sea of Galilee, where Jesus calmed a raging storm. Experience Jerusalem, where Jesus restored a paralyzed man. Explore Capernaum, where Jesus spoke a centurion servant into health. To learn more about standing where it all happened in Israel, visit goisrael.com. Come visit Israel.
Welcome back to our panel discussion about the crisis in the Middle East. We want to bring you up today now on the situation in Libya. Just today, Libyan warplanes bombed parts of eastern Libya, and pro-Gaddafi forces gained control of a key oil installation. Let's go now to Jonathan Schanzer with the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. He joins us from our Washington bureau. Jonathan, thanks for being with us today. We appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I think everybody, including me, of course, I'm not as knowledgeable as you are on this. We kind of thought that this would go the way of the rebels, but Gaddafi doesn't seem to be giving up here. Where do you think this is headed?
Well, I think it's safe to say at this point that we are amidst a full-scale civil war in Libya. It has gotten our attention here into the United States to the point that we have deployed some vessels off the coast of Libya. There's a lot of concern about humanitarian aid getting through, not just to the east, but also to the areas that are completely under Gaddafi's control. So what we're really looking at is a very dangerous situation. And then there are also reports which have really, I think, alarmed a number of people here in Washington that there are chemical weapons that the Gaddafi regime never never dismantled. These are in the desert south of Tripoli, and I think that the goal is that Gaddafi would have these in the event of an emergency. Of course, if we get to some sort of an Alamo situation, the fear is, of course, that Gaddafi could use them.
Jonathan, this may be a bit of a loaded question, but what's the lesser of two evils? Gaddafi staying in power or the rebels taking control?
Well, I think that, obviously it's clear that Gaddafi has been a menace to the international community for decades. He's been in power for 42 years and has never used that power for good. So I think it's undeniable that his departure would be welcomed. The only problem, of course, is that Gaddafi never built up institutions in Libya that would enable a smooth transition. So what we're seeing right now are, anti-government elements that have taken over the east, primarily in the city of Benghazi, which has been a traditional political weather vane for the anti-Gaddafi movement. The only problem is that among those who are part of this cluster, we're just not sure who we can trust and who we can't. They're not all known to us. Many of them are involved with Islamist groups like the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group or Al-Qaeda of the Islamic Maghreb, or other groups that are active in Europe and the United States and beyond. It's a mixed bag. They're certainly not all drug users or members of Al-Qaeda, as Gaddafi alleges, but certainly they are not all known to us, and not all of them are necessarily going to be working for our aims here in the United States.
Jonathan, George Thomas here at the CBN News desk. Let me ask you real quick, is there a sense that do we have human intelligence today in Libya? Have we had any presence to understand what really is going on? I read the other day that the rebels have been asking for airstrikes on downtown Tripoli. I mean, do we have human intelligence walking the streets of Tripoli today?
It's an excellent question, and I think right now our human intelligence is the Libyan opposition. But you have to remember that we have had a détente with Libya really since 2004, after Gaddafi agreed to relinquish his weapons of mass destruction program after our invasion of Iraq. We normalized ties with Libya. We stopped viewing Gaddafi as the threat that he had been. I mean, you remember that this is the man that President Reagan called the mad clown of Tripoli, the one who was responsible for the Lockerbie bombing and for numerous other crimes against Israelis, Americans, and others during the 1970s and 1980s. We restored relations and I think therefore lowered our threat level. So I think right now we're relying on the human intelligence of the Libyan opposition. And again, I think that it's hit or miss in terms of whether we can rely on these people, with any regularity.
Jonathan, thank you for your insights. We appreciate it. Jonathan Schanzer is with the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. And we'll be back with more of our panel discussion. We'll wrap this all up, and we'll encourage you to pray for the persecuted Christians around the world, especially in Pakistan and the Middle East. Please stay with us for that.
Millions of women worldwide love Bare Minerals.
This is smooth, it's nice, and it covers. I like that.
Only Bare Minerals looks like beautiful bare skin, while it covers whatever you want it to. And now you can get our latest kit with our totally new, totally spill-proof Click Lock Go Foundation for over 75% off retail. Our new kit comes with Bare Minerals Foundation in the shade that's just right for you. Warmth for a healthy glow. Mineral Veil, the ultimate finishing touch. And Bare Minerals Flawless Application Brush. Call now and get 3 full-size gifts worth $57.95 free. Purchased separately, you'd spend over $120. Our original Get Started kit was a great deal at 2 payments of $29.99. But now you can get all this for just 1 payment of $29.99. Save over $90 and get a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Call 1-800-376-4174. Ask how you can receive this handy compact. Call 1-800-376-4174 now.
It's impossible to close an open can with a pop top. Open cans spill in the fridge. What a mess. And open cans lose their fizz. What a waste. Introducing Bottle Top. It turns your can into a bottle with the snap of a cap. Open metal cans can't travel. What a waste. Bottle Top turns your can into a bottle that's perfectly portable. You can't do this with an open can. Bottle Top lets any soda keep its carbonation. Look, bugs are gross, but Bottle Top protects your drink from insects. When you're done drinking, just pop it off. Rinse under hot water water, and reuse. Bottle Top keeps drinks from spilling. Now get 6 colored bottle tops for just $10. Call now and get 6 more. Plus, we'll send you the can top popper. Just pay separate shipping and handling. You get 12 amazing bottle tops, plus the can top popper, all for just $10.
Call 1-800-377-9176. But hurry, call now. We're giving away a bonus 6 more bottle tops and the can top popper with today's orders. That's 1-800-377-9176. Call now.
We began our program today with the sad news that Shahbaz Bhatti, a cabinet member in Pakistan, had been assassinated. He is the only Christian member of the Pakistani cabinet. I wanted to go back to Jonathan Schanzer real quick. Jonathan, it's been said that the blood of the martyrs is the seedbed of the church. I just wanted to get your perspective. Do you think that this in any way, his assassination, might have a positive outcome for democracy or for Christian rights in Pakistan?
Well, I'm certainly not a Pakistan expert, but I'm not sure that I feel very optimistic about anything resulting from this that would be positive in the long term. I think we're seeing troubling trends out of Pakistan. This is, I think, just the most recent out of a radicalization trend that has yet to be curbed.
Yeah. Jonathan, thank you for that. Gary, how should we as Christians be praying for those right now in Pakistan, but the persecuted Christians in the Arab world?
Well, I think in Pakistan we need to be praying for their protection, Lee, because this thing could snowball, get out of hand. There will be thousands of Christians rallying at the funeral of Shahbaz Bhatti. That could turn violent if Muslims respond and they clash with the Christians. There are a lot of hot tempers right now, a lot of people upset about this. You get frustrated and you get desperate, and out of your desperation, sometimes there are acts of violence. So we need to pray for the peace of Pakistan. We need to pray for godly and righteous leaders who are courageous and are bold, will step out and speak for the truth, unafraid of the opposition. And that's the problem in Pakistan right now. All the leaders feel intimidated. The Christians are fearful as well. I'm sure their churches will have extra protection, at least from some police over the weekend.
Chris Mitchell, you've lived in Jerusalem, worked in Jerusalem for many years. Tell us how you pray for believers in your part of the world, in Israel.
Well, many of the things that Gary just mentioned. I'd also like to add, Lee, that I know Gary, George, and myself, we've all met, interviewed, and got to know some of the people that live in this part of the world, and their testimonies is inspiring, that they're willing to live out their faith and willing to die for their faith. So it's an inspiration for me personally, and I know it's an inspiration for the people in the West who sometimes don't understand what they live through, just living out their faith day by day. I would agree with Gary. Pray for protection. Pray for boldness. I'd also add that pray for leaders like Hillary Clinton. I was very encouraged by her statements about the Christians when she spoke before Congress. I think that would help and make this topic of Christians here in this region, particularly now when things are so unstable and so uncertain, would be a subject that our leaders are going to be addressing.
Well, Chris Mitchell, Jonathan Schanzer, Gary Lane, George Mitchell, thank you for your insights. We began with the soundbite from Bhatti today, and I just want to close with it. It's so powerful. I'm ready to die for a cause. I live for my community and those who suffer, and I will die to defend their rights. And indeed, Shahbaz Bhatti did die defending their rights. He is a martyr for the faith. That's all for this special edition of CBN News Midday. Thank you for joining us. We hope you'll join us next time.
We created this website as a place where kids can learn the Bible in a whole new way.
Kids will love Superbook.tv. Their games, the ability to create your own personal Superbook characters. We even have a place for kids to listen to music on Superbook Radio.
Superbook is CBN's animated series that teaches the Bible through the eyes of two friends and their robot sidekick. We're going to tell stories all the way from creation to Christ's return.
The website also teaches kids life lessons. Parents can spend time online with their kids learning about the Bible.
Superbook and Superbook.tv are entirely gospel-centered, and by supporting it, you'll help bring God's Word to children all over the world.
We're reaching a new generation with the gospel of Jesus Christ. Together, we can give today's kids the truth of the Bible in a fun and exciting way that will change their lives.
Visit Superbook.tv today.
Finding video on CBN.com just got easier. We've taken all our video, the 700 Club, news, testimonies, teachings, plus our 24/7 channels, and put them in one convenient location, CBN TV. Watch what you want, when you want. It's all simple to find, and now easier than ever to email a story to a friend. CBN TV on CBN.com.